Boys and girls, I'm so glad you have joined me tonight for Pajama Prayers. Thank you so much. I look forward to spending time with you each Saturday evening. So thanks for being here. We have a great show in store for you tonight. We have a game of hidden pictures, races, the new kind of hidden pictures that we've been playing. And we also have a brand new story that I know you're going to absolutely love. So let's get started first with the game of hidden pictures. Are you ready? Good luck to you.
Would you like to take note of a new racer puzzle? Let's do it. Because the picture is too wide to fit on the screen, it will move slowly from one side to the other. That way you'll be able to see the whole picture and find all of the hidden objects. It's the concert of the year at the bottom of the ocean, and the lobsters are ready to rock. The band is cranking out some serious tunes and sending pleasant musical notes throughout the scene. See if you can find the hidden notes and count out loud as you find each one. There are 25 hidden musical notes. In this round, you'll have 25 seconds to see the whole picture. Find the hidden musical notes. Ready to tune in? Let's do it. How many notes did you find? If you found 10, you're a musical genius. Okay, let's try it again. Only this time, you'll have a whole minute to find as many notes as you can. Ready? Go! How'd you do that time? I bet you found a few more. If you found 15, you really rock. And if you found 20 or more, that was a noteworthy performance. Okay, let's go through the whole picture and see where all 25 of the musical notes are hidden. That lobster concert looks like fun. All of the crustaceans are enjoying themselves. And it's all for a great clause.
Are you enjoying the new way we're playing hidden pictures? I sure hope so. I love the way you get to go back and take a second look. That way, if you missed it the first time, you get a second chance to find it again. I like that. I hope you're enjoying it too. Well, it's time for our story. Remember when we started the show tonight, I told you I had a great story for you? I do. And it's time for that story now. The name of the story is Chrysanthemum. And I know that you are going to enjoy this story tonight. Here we go.
Chrysanthemum by Kevin Hinckus. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. "She's perfect," said her mother. "Absolutely," said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. "Her name must be everything she is," said her mother. "Her name must be absolutely perfect," said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew. And when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written with ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake. And she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect. And then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. "Hooray!" said Chrysanthemum. "School!" But when Mrs. Chudd took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. "It's so long," said Joe. "It scarcely fits on your name tag," said Rita, pointing. "I'm named after my grandmother," said Victoria. "You're named after a flower." Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. Well, the rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chudd that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. "That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet," Victoria explained. "Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Mrs. Chudd. "Now put your head down." "If I had a name like yours, I'd change it," Victoria said, as the students lined up to go home. "I wish I could," thought Chrysanthemum miserably. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School is no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag. And I'm named after a flower." "Oh, pish," said her mother. "Your name is beautiful, and precious, and priceless, and fascinating, and winsome," said her father. "It's everything you are," said her mother. "Absolutely perfect," said her father. Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning, Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper, and she walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. She even looked like a flower, said Victoria as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. Let's pick her, said Rita, pointing. Let's smell her, said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, "A chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things." "Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Mrs. Chudd. "Now put your head down." "I just cannot believe your name," Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. "Neither can I," thought Chrysanthemum miserably. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School is no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me." "Oh, pish," said her mother. "They're just jealous." "And envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced," said her father. "Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours?" said her mother. "After all, it's absolutely perfect," said her father. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, and another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night, Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one until there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and she stared at each and every flower. Chrysanthemum, 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 the flowers seemed to say. That morning, the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger, and Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. "Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy," Joe, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. "What's so humorous?" asked Mrs. Twinkle. "Chrysanthemum," was the answer. "Her name is so long," said Joe. "Well, it scarcely fits on her name tag," said Rita, pointing. I'm named after my grandmother, said Victoria. She is named after a flower. My name is Long, said Mrs. Twinkle. It is, said Joe. My name would scarcely fit on a name tag, said Mrs. Twinkle. It would, said Rita, pointing. And, said Mrs. Twinkle, I'm named after a flower, too. You are? Said Victoria. Yes, said Mrs. Twinkle. My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect. Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed. She beamed. She bloomed. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. Call me Marigold, said Joe. I'm Carnation, said Rita, pointing. My name is Lily of the Valley, said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. The end.
Don't you agree? That was a good story, wasn't it? With a great lesson about being kind. I felt kind of sad for Chrysanthemum when we first started the story because her friends at school were so unkind to her. Boys and girls, it's never okay to be unkind to people. The Bible tells us that we should treat others the way we would like to be treated. You wouldn't want to be treated unkindly, would you? No, that doesn't feel good at all. Our scripture verse for tonight is found in the book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 31. And this is what it says. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. Boys and girls, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you remember to treat everyone kindly. And I hope you are treated kindly as well. Turn to someone there with you and say,
You are worth more than you know, capable of more than you think, and loved more than you can imagine. Good night.